Come to the table, kids. It's a meatloaf. No! This week, we're making a meatloaf sandwich. It's gonna have a Chipotle apricot glaze, diced chilies, a little Mexican flair, and it's gonna be beautiful. Here we go. All of this is gold. Everything we're doing is gold. You know what I'm saying? Alright, here's the ingredients we're gonna be working with today. Find them listed here. No. Alright, here's the ingredients we're working with today. Alright guys, let's start with some prep. I need to dice an onion for our meatloaf mixture. Then we're gonna make the apricot chipotle glaze, and we're gonna bake that off, and then we'll start working on some ingredients for the sandwich. About a tablespoon of olive oil. Let that heat up for just a couple seconds. And we're not looking for very much color, we're just sweating these, get a little bit of moisture out. Guys, let's start with our meatloaf mixture. First up, we need to make something called a panade, which is essentially just combining your breadcrumbs and milk right away. It forms like this paste. It will evenly disperse through your meatloaf mixture, making for a much more tender, more connected meatloaf rather than that like crumbly garbage your grandma makes. Your grandma probably doesn't make garbage meat. Your grandma's probably really good. I'm sorry. Alrighty guys, let's make our panade. We're gonna start with about 3/4 of a cup of breadcrumbs. And then equal parts milk. And let's give her a mix. Alright, 1 egg. Really fuck that one up, huh? Alright guys, this is where it gets a little messy. We gotta mix this bitch. If you want to wear gloves, wear some gloves. If you want to try and use tongs, don't do that. We have hands for a reason. They're the best tools we have. Okay, get your little fingies in there. Yeah, so we have our panade with our egg. We're gonna add our ground beef, our diced chilies, our onions, and then our spices. We're gonna mix and we'll be on our way. First in, we're gonna go with our diced green chilies, mild, not too spicy. In we go. All right, following, we're gonna go with our onions, which have cooled down by now. Alright. Our spices. A couple cranks of black pepper here. Looking for maybe 1/2 teaspoon. 2 teaspoons of salt. 2 bigger pinches, I guess. Our cumin. Garlic powder. Decent little hefty amount of that bad boy. About a teaspoon or so. And now we're gonna give this a little mix prior to our ground beef. And I don't know if you saw, but as this panade sat here, it kind of enriched the breadcrumbs, making it a little bit thicker. Now let's go in with our ground beef and give it a little mixture. I use 80/20 ground beef. That adds a little bit of fat. The panade is really there to kind of hold things together, so the fat ratio isn't going to be too big of an issue. You definitely wouldn't want to go something with like 30%, you know, that'd be a little outrageous, but I think 80/20 is my favorite ground beef for pretty much anything. But yeah, let's get a little messy. Now, there's a couple different ideas on how much meatloaf should be mixed. Some say you should lightly mix it. Some say you should put it in a stand mixer and just blend the crap out of it so it becomes like a paste. And I'm kind of in between. I definitely want my meatloaf to hold its shape and form. And that really comes down to, you know, having your ratios on that panade. and, you know, mixing it just enough where she's gonna stick together. But there's nothing worse than a crumbly meatloaf, especially when you're making meatloaf sandwiches. You want that guy to stick together. So we're gonna give her a little thorough mix here and we'll be on our way. All right, guys, let's make our apricot chipotle glaze. I love this glaze. These chipotle peppers are absolutely beautiful. I use them in everything. And apricot preserves, have you ever used these? This is the only thing I use it for. I really should use them for more, but it's a beautiful level of sweet. It's not gonna be overwhelming like a cherry jam or anything like that. It's just a perfect balance between these three ingredients and the beautiful, fatty meatloaf that we're about to cook. It's gonna be great. All right, guys, first up, we're going with about a half a cup of ketchup. We're not measuring anything. We're doing this by taste, by feel, and it should all work out. All these ingredients are great. If you don't like it spicy, don't add a lot of chipotle. If you want it sweeter, add more apricot. Oh yeah. I'm gonna go about equal parts of the apricot to ketchup. And we're gonna make a little bit extra of this because we're gonna make an aioli for our sandwich later today. Then we gotta open this can of peppers. I'm a savage, so I can't get it open. It's fine. Everything's fine. Now, dependent on your spice level is your tolerance. That's gonna be how many peppers you add. I'm gonna add 3, and that's gonna be a little bit spicy. So if you're maybe Minnesota spice level, which we are here in beautiful Minnesota, maybe use 1. We're also gonna wanna get some of the juices in there because that adobo sauce is absolutely beautiful. Wonderful. All right, so now we're gonna cover this up, give her a little blitz until smooth, and we'll be on our way. All right, let's give her a taste. Killed it. It's gonna be so good. A little bit of mayo in there on that sandwich. Mwah. And like I said, we made extra just because we're making the sandwiches. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. Let's form this meatloaf. Just take her, slap her on. I don't use a folding tray or what do you call that? Baking dish? A loaf tray. I don't use that. I like to free form it. And for me, it gives a little character. You know what I mean? A little messy filler. Get it nice and tight and even. And we don't want air pockets, at least not a lot of them. We're gonna do our best. And we kind of want to think, because this is for sandwiches, about the size of the bread we're using. This obviously is gonna shrink. But yeah, keep that in mind. All right, and now I'm gonna give her a tap or 2. That's gonna knock out a lot of those air bubbles. All right. So next we're gonna glaze our loaf and get her in the oven. All right, I lost my brush, so we're doing this old-fashioned way, I guess. Just slap a little on there for our glaze. Oh, you idiot. So, don't be sticking this back in here because we're gonna need to use this, put on the sandwich, and it's not gonna be cooked. Pause on set. Hold on, it's fine. Just give me a minute. People will roast me on the internet for that. They'll fucking come at you, man. So we're just gonna pour a little in here, and this will be used just for the meat. Give her a nice good glaze, get the sides, and we're gonna kind of layer on some flavors here. So about every 15 minutes, we're gonna take this out of the oven and add just a touch more. Hopefully it doesn't get too dark, but we definitely want some color. I love my meatloaf to have a little character to it. All right, this should be set to go in. 350 degrees, about 50 minutes, and every 15 minutes or so, we're gonna reglaze it. All right, let's julienne some onions for our meatloaf sandwich. We're just gonna try equal parts of the sauce and mayo. See how it turns out. We can always adjust if we need. See how that looks. Hopefully it's like a beautiful orange color here. Let's give it a little whisk. And a little taste. Ow! Look at that. Beautiful. First on the list, we're gonna have sauce to both sides, as always. Look at that. Next on our list, we're gonna add a little bit of arugula to the bottom. We missed our mark a little bit on the size of our meatloaf to bread, but you just gotta do a little surgery and make do. It's fine, it's fine. Up next, we're going with some of our house-made bread and butter pickles. Check out the recipe for that in the link below. These turned out beautiful. Look at that color on there. All right, and then topped with our caramelized onions. And that is our meatloaf sandwich. Oh shit. How about that for a meatloaf sandwich? Mmm. Oh! Oh! That's meatloaf! Get out of here.